All right, so this is what the nails look like, and it is our job today to get this stuff off of her nails. So why do you need to know how to do a removal? Well, what goes up must come down. What goes on must come off. When you're in school, you're not going to get the chance to do removals because you're usually stuck pretty bad at applying this stuff. And so people's nails just pop off by themselves. When you become a professional and you get good at applying this stuff, then they come back and they still have the stuff on and you're like, oh crap, what do I do now? So at some point, you definitely need to learn how to do removals. You may even have stuff on your own nails and you can't get to your nail tech for whatever reason, COVID, whatever it is, and you need to get this crap off your nails. So I'm gonna take you through the steps of a removal. There are, I'd say, 3 basic ways to do a removal. Well, I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there's horribly creative ways to do a removal, but we're not gonna go into the damaging, horribly creative ways to do removals like dental floss and all that kind of craziness, or sliding a nail tip under. It just makes my skin crawl thinking about that stuff. There are nail techs out there that will literally take a plastic nail tip, cram it under your enhancement, and whoosh, like that, and blood and guts and horror and pain, and it's just so bad for your natural nail. So that is not the proper way to do a removal. I am going to show you 2.5 very proper ways to do a removal. First being with the hand file. So if you have product on your nails, whether it's acrylic, gel polish, dip, whatever the heck it is, first method is going to be with a hand file. Second method is going to be using an electric file. So if you have an electric file, you have to make sure you've got the right bit. And there's still a little hand filing at the end. The halfway to do it, that I'm not really going to show you too much, is just cotton and foil, but who really likes that? When I'm out there working in the salon or even working on myself, I just want to do whatever's fastest. And most of the time, hand filing or using an electric file is the fastest. If I'm trying to be very careful of the natural nail when I get it down, I might wrap the very end of it, the very smidgy that's left, with a little bit of foil and cotton. But pouring a bowl of acetone and soaking in there for 20 minutes, just waiting and waiting and waiting, is really not cost effective. It's not time effective. So let's go through these methods real quick. As you can see, there's some glitter encapsulated in there, and you can really see, she's got pretty decent nails underneath there. You can sort of see the thickness of the product that's there, what's left of it anyway. This was an acrylic set of nails, but the foundation underneath all of this is actually the Wildflowers base gel. She's had these on for, oh my gosh, probably a month, and it is definitely time to get this stuff off. They've been shortened and everything in the world. So the most efficient way to do this is with an electric file using a fluted bit. So the fluted bits are the ones that have the little teeth, and they're very effective for getting this off. The other way to go about it is by just using a hand file. So something like this, a 180 grit flat file or a 100 grit flat file. So I'll show you on just one finger what this is going to look like should you choose to hand file to remove all of this. What you have to do is sort of work on different areas and come at it, a little bit at a time. What will happen is if you stay in one spot for too long, it'll definitely heat up and get warm. I'll get very uncomfortable, and it's very easy to just file straight through there and actually all the way down to the natural nail and damage the natural nail. So if you are going to soak this off, or if you're just going to file all the way through it, either way, the first step is just a little bit of hand filing like this. You're going to start to see as we pop through the product, and I'm really going to get in tight here, you can actually kind of see it pop through. That's the beauty of having gel down as the first layer. As we get in here, you are gonna see this sort of have these spots where it pops through. Now these circles out here on the edge are actually pieces of glitter. So I can tell we still have quite a bit out here on the free edge to file through before we start getting down to the natural nail. So this is, for me, a safe place to file because I can actually see the stuff there. I can see as I file through it, and I can see once it's gone, I know that I'm getting down lower and lower as I file. Okay. This is a bit of a labor of love when you have to hand file the product off of the nail. Okay, now we're gonna start to be careful because as you can see, we're actually all the way through, right down that whole area right there. So what I like to do is once I find an area that's all the way down, I like to focus on just getting those little scraps off. So we've got some little scraps right through there. We definitely have more product over here. So I'm just gonna keep my focus on very light strokes and really taking a look in between my strokes because it does not take a lot to get that off. Once you get down like this, very little pressure is all you need to get that excess product removed from the natural nail. So we've got a lot of it removed through there. This is my weaker side over here. Means it feels a little bit awkward as I'm filing. But again, you can never just go on autopilot and file, 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 file without stopping to look. You can definitely see right in here as it's turning that light color, the product's actually beginning to lift up, which is pretty helpful. You can get in there and actually, if you have something to kind of catch the edge, which, you know, for me, I've got gloves on, but even with my own nails, with the shield of the glove, of course, I mean, as I just rub, it's kind of catching there. So again, we're down pretty low here. You gotta watch your customer's skin when you're using a big hand file because it's easy to accidentally grab the skin with this file and kind of chew their skin up, and that's never good. So very light pressure at this point. We almost have it off. If you're going to do a fresh set of nails on someone, it's important to have a lot of this removed because if you leave it on there and it's sort of on the loose side, it'll just cause problems. It's like having a bad foundation and trying to build something on top of it. So there we go. I am going to now take some a mixture of like acetone and alcohol and just wipe this. And we're just looking to see, because the parts of this nail where the natural nail is exposed are going to turn a nice chalky color. And so we still have like a patch right here and a patch over here. And this is just a nice giveaway so that we can say, oh, you know, I think there's actually even right up in there a little bit, but not much to worry about. But there's actually still some product right here on this corner and right down here. Isn't that a neat trick to help you kind of see what's left on there? So grab that file again. Gotta be so careful and just use really light pressure because you can really feel this. The lower down you get, the more you'll really start to feel the heat and the vibration, and it's just not a very pleasant feeling to feel. Okay. Still have a tiny bit here. I'm trying to be very careful over here because if we damage the nail over here, it's going to kind of compromise the structure and the strength. So I'm trying to be really careful. There we go. So I just came from underneath. You could see that sort of just come right up. So it should be in great shape now. I'm going to do one more final wipe. Oh yeah, the whole nail pretty much has gone chalky at this point. Just a tiny, when it hits the light, you can see that little tiny shine. That's going to come off when I do my preparation. So the product has been pretty adequately removed here. Should you want to go back to wearing nail polish on the nails or something like that, you have to work on the nail sort of like, if any of you have taken shop class and done some woodworking, you have to use the different grits of sandpaper to sort of take this from a really scratched up nail back to a healthy nail that doesn't have these scratches in it. So they make three-way buffers and tools like that you can use to get this nail back to the point where it's smooth enough that if you were to put, you know, say a nail polish on it or something like that, you're not going to have big, deep scratches in the nail. So if you're trying to get it back to that, you're going to have to work at it a little bit. I just use the 180 sponge side of the file. And so you can definitely see less scratches now on the nail, but still not perfect. So you can just keep on taking it a step further and a step further. So this is one way to remove product. Is it time consuming? Absolutely it is. Removing product properly is time consuming, period. There's really not a way around that. And that's just part of nails that I think a lot of people forget. You know, you can glue your nails on, you can use acrylic to get your nails on, but when it comes time to take them off, there's really not a quick solution, and typically a quick solution is going to damage the nails. So let me show you how to do this with an electric file. This is a fluted bit, which means it has little teeth. So you can see those little teeth in there. And sometimes these files end up getting a little bit of product stuck in them, and they make a little brush for these that you can use to remove that product. Bits for the electric file, there we go. Bits for the electric file actually have to be completely disinfected between customers, and that's a very important thing. So you have to kind of get like a wire brush to be able to get it out of all of those little grooves, and then it needs to get washed with soapy water and then go into a liquid disinfectant to soak. So that being said, we are going to work with this on a pretty high speed. And we are going to work in strokes that come downward this way. So the electric file is in a forward motion. And what's happening here is every time, and I'm not trying to get up here, I'm just staying on top of the acrylic. Every time I bring this down the nail, these little teeth are actually cutting away the acrylic that's here. They'll cut right through the glitter, they'll cut through all of it. But it's important to take your time when you're doing this, because the same way you're gonna see this start to pop through. So you see this spot? That's her real nail right there. We've already popped through back there. So we'll come out here. I'm really pulling her skin back out of the way. And again, just pop through over there. So it doesn't take a lot of pressure at all. And that thing went flying. Sometimes when you're working on an electric file, and one of those little teeth on the bit catch a piece of glitter, it will make almost a pop noise and just pull that piece of glitter right out. It's cutting these ones away, but sometimes it just goes poof and it pops. I am being very, very, very light with my pressure. I'm just doing some strokes towards me. Now, how do we get over in here? Well, you're not going to do it with this part, which is like the round part, because that's not going to be very effective. So you actually have to use the back part in here. So you got to pull the skin back and use the back part of the bit to get through there. And you can see we're down to her natural nail already. Again, this is much more aggressive. So if you're gonna use an electric file, you really need to be mindful of your pressure. You need to go slow and take your time and pay attention and see what you're doing. To get this area around here, we are going to use sort of the front part of the bit and move from right to left. Let's stop here and get an idea of what's going on with this nail, because we have the product completely removed in some areas, and then in some areas we still have a lot of acrylic and gel. So we can see, look at it, it's got like all kinds of like lumps and bumps, and it's crazy. So it looks like there's still quite a bit of product. The middle section of this nail is definitely not shining at all. So we have reached the natural nail through the middle. We've reached it over here on the sides. So for some people, if they walk through the door and have really thick acrylic on, getting it down close to the natural nail is a good idea using an electric file. But from here, if you're really trying to remove, it's almost better to take your hand file the rest of the way, because the surface is so large on this that you can come through here in a curved motion and you can really remove a lot of product and start to smooth that out. So again, let's look and see. The whole center is good. We're down to the natural nail in the center. Still have some product here and over on the side. Still have some product on the other side. So we're gonna avoid the middle, because if we just keep filing in the middle, we're gonna continue to just damage. Can you soak it off at this point? Absolutely. Will it come off pretty quickly? Yes, it will come off pretty quickly at this point. So there's a lot of options when you're doing a removal, and a lot of how you do the removal depends on what you're gonna do next on your customer's nails. So if my plans are to do a new set of acrylic or a new set of gel on her fingers, I don't need to get it silky smooth like this, because part of the process for doing acrylic or gel is removing the shine and actually sort of getting the nail plate rough a little bit. So getting it back to its original high shine is definitely not going to be part of the plan. So if you're going to do another set of nails on your customer, it's important to think about how far you really have to take this. Another thing to think about is, you know, a lot of salons and even people working at home are using an illegal product called methyl methacrylate, which is MMA. And half the time they don't even realize they're using it. A lot of times when you buy products from unreliable sources, you are buying knockoff products, and MMA, methyl methacrylate, is a very cheap and inexpensive product. And it's actually outlawed because it is not good for the skin, it's not good for the nails, and it's definitely not good to inhale the dust particles created from filing it. So if you're a nail technician and somebody comes to you and they have somebody else's product on their nails, unless you know for sure, what salon they were at and for sure what they use at that salon, sometimes once people get it down pretty far, they definitely like to soak because they're trying to avoid inhaling that dust. So all things to consider and think about, but if your nails are made with MMA, which is methyl methacrylate, getting methyl methacrylate airborne is always a really bad idea. All right, so still some product over here, and you can kind of see that sparkly shimmer over there. And the rest of the nail, I think, for the most part, is pretty good. Really, you have to be careful in the nail grooves and in the sidewalls. Some people, if they're in a hurry and they're careless and they don't care about the integrity of the natural nail, will come in here with a file this way, and they'll just file that off. They'll just take it right off. That's a horrible, horrible idea. It's going to weaken the natural nail. And actually, she's going to have a much higher risk of this nail breaking if we just go in there and get rid of it altogether. So I'm going to carefully remove that product from in there and definitely leave the sidewall of that nail intact so that she has a nice strong nail and a nice strong nail shape. Really, she has beautiful nails. And let's see here. There we go. Sometimes there's something under the nail. Sometimes it's on top of the nail. So sometimes you gotta just check underneath, but that nail looks pretty good. We did pretty good on that nail. Very minimal damage. Damage does occur when you do removals typically. And the best way to avoid damage altogether is really by soaking at the end. So taking it down pretty far and not even popping through to the natural nail at all. So yeah, there you have it. So, okay, let's talk about what should our timing be to do a removal in the salon. Removals typically book for half an hour. So if we do our math, that means we have 3 minutes to devote to every nail. Going to give us a total of 30 minutes. So can we do a removal in 3 minutes flat on one of these nails? Definitely. And it's definitely going to happen with a combination of the electric file and the hand file. So let's start a timer and see if we can get this one completely removed in 3 minutes. I'm not going to talk much as I do this because I'm going to really stay focused on what I'm doing. So here we go. Are you ready? 3 minutes. Start the timer. Sometimes when you're new to doing nails, it's best to not talk. You don't have to be rude to your customers. You just have to say to them, you know what? I'm kind of new to nails and I really need to think about what I'm doing when I work, just on certain parts. So I'm trying to really concentrate. A lot of people are really understanding of that. Okay, check this out. I know I'm being timed, but there is lifted product. So it's like, where's her real nail? Because it looks like we're filing off her nail. It's a trick, it's really product. Okay, we've almost got it. I can't see the timer, by the way. So I hope, I'm sure I'm getting near. Let's do a quick check. Looks like there's just a tiny bit more right here in the middle. Okay. All right. Do a final check. Yeah, not too shabby, huh? Looks like we got the bulk of it off. Okay. Hopefully I was under the 3-minute mark for that. Like I said, I can't see the timer as I'm working, but I feel good about it. So yeah, this is the process. You can choose to do one nail at a time, but typically when you're working in a salon, you're gonna go through and you're gonna do, you know, repeat the steps. So you're gonna use the electric file, and then come back with your hand file on all of them. And that's the best way to do product removal, the quickest way to do product removal. If you have some remnants left on there, you can always take, you know, a piece of cotton, so something like this, and I like to take scissors and actually cut this in half. So I'll take this, and usually I prepare these far in advance, and I actually have them ready in baggies in my drawer for my customers. But I'll take this, I'll fold it in half like this, actually soak it in acetone like this, put this on the nail, and then take some aluminum foil and just wrap that around it. And it takes anywhere from 5 minutes all the way to 20 minutes to soak off product from the nail. And it can be a little bit more expensive because you're talking about cotton and acetone and foil and all of that. So typically when I was doing nails professionally full time, everything was removed with my electric file. I didn't really mess around unless it was just a little natural nail gel polish. That's the only time I would typically remove using acetone. So there you go. Well, I hope you guys learned something today watching these removal techniques. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I am doing videos at least once a week. Love doing videos like this. Be sure to like the video. Leave a comment. I love to talk to you guys down below in the comments. I'll definitely post links to the Bit Kit and other products that I used today. And be sure to share this with a friend. Be sure if you're in nail school or you know a nail tech that could definitely use help with this video. There's a lot of groups on Facebook where people are really looking for the basics of stuff. Please share this channel and share this video with them. I'm sure they will appreciate it as much as I do. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Have a great day.